Okay, so um, I left off at in the Christian sense, a company of Christian or of those who hoping for eternal salvation through Yahushua observe their own religious rites, hold their own religious meetings, and manage their own affairs according to the regulations prescribed for the body for order's sake. And that's basically what we're doing, because I mean the Israelites are the real Christians, and and matter of fact, here's the other definition: the whole body of Christians scattered throughout the earth. And you can watch my video, Israelites, Christians scattered. And I'll put it in the link below. And but it says observe their own religious rites. That's what we're doing. Which religion? The word itself, it means to hold. It's not basically what people saying it is as far as today. It's mainly just called worship, but also it can be to mean hold back and things like that. Basically, how the white man and try to put what he did. For instance, Muhammad trying to make Jews do Hebrew or not Islam. That's also involved in that. But as far as the Bible is concerned, it's nothing but law, statutes, and commandments. That's all it is. But as far as observe their own religious rites, which is, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, hold their own religious meetings, which, whether the brother has a class, classes, or like I was saying, just when we go out to teach, that's a meeting. That is the gathering. So, that was pretty much it. So let me get into these scriptures. All right. So let me start off with Acts. This is Acts 7. We'll start at 35. Let's see. This is Acts 7 and 35. Okay, this Moses, whom they refused, saying, who made thee a ruler and a judge? The same did the Most High send to be a ruler and a deliverer by the hands of the angel which appeared to him in the bush. He brought them out after that he had showed wonders and signs in the land of Egypt, in the Red Sea, and in the wilderness 40 years. This is that Moses which said unto the children of Israel, a prophet shall the Most High your power raise up unto you of your brethren like unto me, him shall ye hear, which is talking about Yahushua. Verse 38, this is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spake to him in the Mount Sinai, and with our fathers who received the lively oracles to give unto us. So basically, this is he that was in the congregation or the assembly, but whether that's really what it would be going into, the congregation or the assembly, because that's what the church is. All right. But it wasn't talking about this is he that was at the church building. You know what I'm saying? That's not what it's dealing with. Same thing when the Lord told Peter that he would build his church. He wasn't talking about a building and then now this is what we have today, a bunch of buildings everywhere. This is, I'm going to church. Because like I said earlier in the video, there's a lot of so-called churches. Like basically church is not just specific to so-called Christianity. Like I said, they got churches for science, church Scientology. There's the Church of Satan, church, just basically, just different things. Just like with the word world, Just like with John 3:16, which people still don't have no understanding, there's the world of animals. There's the world, this world, that world. It's not just exclusive to the earth, which if I could see if the scripture said, for God so loved the earth, he gave his begotten son, or you know what I'm saying? But that word, even, and you can check out my video on my Daily Motion Prince Makazah page, about John 3:16. But you know, the point is that that there's different meanings for the word church, or a church can also be into other things, like I was saying. You know, the Church of Satan, Church of Scientology. But the point is, you know, Acts 7:38, this is he that was in the church, and where was, you know, the church is the children of Israel in the wilderness, with the angel which spake to him in Mount Sinai, and with our fathers who received the lively oracles to give unto us. Okay, so from there, let me go to, this is 1 Corinthians 14 and 32. Okay. And the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. And again, who are the prophets? You know, Amos 2 and 11. Okay, so for the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. Okay, and the saints are Israelites. Psalms 148 and 14. It's not talking about no Italians or popes and all of that in Catholic Church, because even after that scripture in Psalms 148, when you read Psalms 149, these popes and people in Catholicism, these priests and all that, they're not, you know, they're not trying to. The scriptures say that the saints gonna judge the heathen. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's going into these last days. But you know, that's another, that's another thing. All right. So let me move forward. So the churches of all the saints. Okay. So let's go into, now let's show that even Paul, when he was persecuting the church, they were Israelites he was persecuting. You know, so let me get this is Acts 8, and I'll start at the top. And Saul was consenting unto his death, and at that time there was a great persecution against the church which was at Jerusalem, and they were all scattered abroad. And that's a one thing. First of all, it says against the church which was at Jerusalem, and they were all scattered abroad. So again, that shows that the church is a people. You don't have to go to a building and call that the church. The church is the body. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm going to prove a little later when I talk about who the Lord died for. But I mean, it's showing that the church is the people, which I just read that this was he that was in the church. But and at that time there was a great persecution against the church which was at Jerusalem, and they were all scattered throughout the regions of Judea and Samaria, except the apostles. And devout men carried Stephen to his burial, and made great lamentation over him. As for Saul, he made havoc of the church, entering into every house and hailing men and women, committed them to prison. Okay, therefore they that were scattered abroad went everywhere preaching the word. So here it is. Paul was persecuting the church, you know, throwing people, men and women, in prison, entering into every house, because even during the time of the Lord, other than teaching the word outside, you would go to houses. Now, as far as, you know, as if someone could be like, well, what about Jehovah's Witnesses and all of that? But it's like they were in Jerusalem teaching Israelites. Like today, if I can't go around my neighborhood and different brothers and just knock on people's doors and it's not Israel, and you know that you don't know if they're Israelites or if they're Gentiles and so on and so forth. That's why we got to go out to where people were among, as well as, because that's why the scriptures say you would go in like Tobit 13 chapter tells you to go out and exalt the Most High among the Gentiles. Okay, which that's what we're doing. But as far as like here, other than like entering in every house, but and hailing men and women committed them to prison. Okay, so basically, like I said, the church, showing that it's a people, that the church is a people. All right. So from there, let me get Acts 26. This is Acts 26:9. I verily thought with myself that I ought to do many things contrary to the name of Yahushua of Nazareth, which thing I also did in Jerusalem, and many of the saints did I shut up in prison. So again, the saints are Israelites. Okay? Having received authority from the chief priest, and when they were put to death, I gave my voice against them. Okay, so another scripture showing, backing up to what happened in Acts the 8th chapter, where, Paul was persecuting Israelites. Okay, that was coming in the name of Yahushua. All right, so let me go back down to Acts 9 now, because like they didn't believe him. All right, so let me see. Okay, so I'm going to be jumping around, but I'm just going to get to the points in Acts 9. And Saul, this is Acts 9:1. And Saul, yet breathing out threatenings and slaughtered against the disciples of the Lord, went unto the high priest, which was what he was talking about in Acts 26. Okay, I'm going to drop to 13. Then Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard by many of this man how much evil he hath done to thy saints at Jerusalem. And there he hath authority from the chief priest to bind all that call on thy name. Okay? So, that was it right there. But again, showing that he did much evil to the saints at Jerusalem, which again I told you the saints are Israelites. But let's drop down to verse 22. Okay, but Saul increased the more in strength and confounded the Jews which dwelt at Damascus, proving that this is very Christ. And after that many days were fulfilled, the Jews took counsel to kill him, but their lying await was known of Saul, and they watched the gates day and night to kill him. Then the disciples took him by night and let him down by the wall in a basket. And when Saul was come to Jerusalem, he essayed to join himself to the disciples, but they were all afraid of him and believed not that he was a disciple. Okay, matter of fact, let me get John 8 real quick. Okay, this is John 8 and 31. Then said Yahushua to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed. Okay, so he was persecuting the disciples which were Israelites. Alright, so let me read that again. And when Saul was come to Jerusalem, he essayed to join himself to the disciples, but they were all afraid of him and believed not that he was a disciple. But Barnabas took him and brought him to the apostles and declared unto them how he had seen the Lord in the way, and that he had spoken to him, and how he had preached boldly at Damascus in the name of Yahushua. Speaking of when Paul got met the Lord and everything, and they didn't believe him because the disciples didn't believe him because he was persecuting them at one point. Okay, but the point is that that Paul, like I got in Acts the 8th chapter, that he was persecuting Israelites, which is the church. Okay, so let me move on. Let me see. So let me go to Galatians. Let me just get a few more on Paul, and then I'll move on from there. So this is Galatians 1:13. For ye have heard of my conversation in times past in the Jews' religion, how that beyond measure